S-D-P-P. The Steve Dangle Podcast. With your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Good morning. And I say good morning because it's early for us. We're going to be putting out the show early today. And then tonight, it's a big old bar down.
Babies.
Yeah.
Babies, all of you.
Yeah.
I said nothing.
They have to start the day at a regular work hour?
Listen.
God forbid.
You know what? Normally it's 11. It's
Stupid.
now 9:30.
It's stupid, though. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. We came up with the schedule for the show, and we were like, should we do it at normal times?
No.
No.
We shouldn't.
Because does anyone enjoy it?
No.
Anyone getting up at 6 right now like, this is the shit.
Exactly.
I just think anybody out
Extremely
there,
my shit.
especially Adam, like you and I woke up at 4:30 every morning for years.
And
Yeah.
you notably loved it.
I hated it. I love doing shows. I do. I love it.
Yeah.
I hated waking up early.
Yeah, me too.
When I was like when Steve used to do like Olympic hits with me in 2010 when I was doing evenings and overnights were my shit. That was the most fun. It's unfortunate that nobody's listening at that time, but those are the best shifts in radio. And honestly, I would love to, like, I look at the guys on TV doing like hockey games. I'm like, that is the perfect time to be on the air. You've had a good day to warm up, be ready to go, got your prep, that sort of thing. When you're waking up at 4 a.m., you're like, okay, so I did some prep last night. What happened this morning? Oh, and I got to pretend to be really happy about being awake right now.
My favorite shift is the afternoon.
Yeah, you like that?
I think it's better. I think it's a little better than the evening one because then you miss out on everything that happens at night. I think that afternoon shift when you're on the air from like 5 to 7, like that's
a good time.
Like
yeah.
the Tim and Sid show when I was working on that show, like that was perfect.
Adam's stupid knucklehead friends had to visit him in studio if they wanted to hang out with him.
Yeah,
we
that's
did
true.
that one
When
night.
you were doing overnights.
Yeah. Well, we had.
out.
I remember we had we had a New Year's party at the Virgin Radio Studios in 2011. And this is when it was owned by a different company. You could never do it now that Bell owns it. But Astral was like, well, yeah, whatever. Do what you want. Great Quebec company. Solid. Love you, Astral. Miss you. They basically, they're like, hey, so we're going to send all the jocks out. And they're going to go to different people's New Year's parties and take pictures and tweet them and stuff like that. And do cut-ins. And Adam, you're going to be back at home base and you're going to be taking all the calls. And you're 21, so bring all your friends in. So I packed 30 people in the studio with alcohol. And I remember when New Year's actually hit, because the shift was 7 hours. We started at 7, we finished at 2 a.m. And I turned on all the mics in the studio to get everybody singing Old Lang Syne and celebrating or whatever. And one of my friends, his name's Kevin Burnside, yelled out,
why did you?
He said, Happy New Year, motherfuckers!
Oh, no.
Went out across the air.
We went to high school with this person,
Yeah.
and the moment you mentioned his name, I'm like, you had a live mic in front of him?
I
What's the matter
know.
with
I
you?
know. We didn't get
I'm
one.
surprised it wasn't like at 3, 2, 1. I just did the opposite with my fingers.
Yep.
3, 2, 1. All right, and now we're on the air. Dick, boob, penis. Like, dude.
He didn't. We didn't get one CBSC complaint. Not one. So we were okay.
Nice.
Well, there you go.
And,
I don't think a lot of people were working.
Listening to the radio.
No, they were not listening to the radio usually on a night like that. But anyway, it was a fun way to have your own Club Virgin Radio, as we called it.
Club
And
Virgin.
That's
Club
cool.
Virgin. Yeah.
Club Virgin.
Went to a few of those clubs. I was that guy. Also, I mean, this is a bit of a hard turn, but I do want to mention that today is National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, also known as Orange Shirt Day. Sorry, tomorrow is. We're wearing today, and I say today too because Everly had to wear her orange shirt today as well because tomorrow is the day.
Well.
It was first established in 2013 as part of an effort to promote awareness and education of the residential school system in Canada and the impact that it has had on Indigenous communities for over a century. The impact of the residential school system has been recognized as a cultural genocide that continues to this day. And obviously, there are great organizations that are working to change that, including the obviously the Orange Shirt Society, which Jesse has up on screen, the Downey Wenjack charity started by Gord Downey before his passing. So there's plenty of organizations you can give to, you can read up on, you can educate yourself, and we wanted to be a part of that as well.
Yeah,
So.
the last residential school in Canada didn't close until 1997.
And we learned what they taught us in school was like a sentence.
Oh,
It's like, and we had these schools anyway.
It was bad. Maybe shouldn't have done it. Anyway,
we were still in school.
Moving
I was
on.
in school in 1997.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, for sure.
I
It's
remember
crazy.
1997.
Yeah.
I do.
You got memories from it.
I remember who won the cup in '97. Who is it?
Detroit.
Who they beat?
In 97, Philly.
That's right. Legion
Yes.
of Doom. The next year it was who? Come on.
Oh, Washington.
That's right.
Yeah.
Aha. Anyway, let's
Both sweeps.
So we're gonna have a show today. Obviously, it'll be up, and you're probably watching this maybe around noon or whatever. And then we're gonna have a show tonight at the Corson Clubhouse in St. Catharines for our sold out show. So you're gonna have another pod, a bonus pod tomorrow, which is a live pod, unless you're gonna be there, in which case you'll see it live. We're very excited.
And then
about
watch it back, and maybe you'll see yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, yesterday we had huge news break. Kevin Weeks broke the story.
Oh, man.
Andrei Vasilevskiy had a microdectomy on a lumbar back herniation this morning.
I don't know where to begin with that.
He's expected to miss the first 2 months of the regular season. Pierre LeBrun retweeted Chris Johnson and said everything is on the table as far as whether the Lightning go for a goalie, but cap management for day one is going to be important, especially since Vasilevskiy will be back. So obviously they can take his salary, put it on LTIR, but they can't go out and get a goalie equivalent because, frankly, they won't be able to afford that person when he comes back.
Like Dan Vladar was a name that got brought up.
He's too expensive.
He's too
$2 million.
expensive unless money goes back.
Yeah.
But I just don't.
I don't see that.
I don't see it.
It does smell a little bit like Martin Jones's music, but in the meantime,
there's other guys.
Martin Jones had 27 wins last year.
He did.
So
I mean, he would be adequate. They don't need a world beater. Like if you want one, too bad. You're not getting one. You need an adequate replacement for 2 months. That's it.
Eric Erlinson, who is the Lightning insider, he kind of broke down after speaking with Julian Brisebois what happened, because this was the story out of Lightning camp, which has been an eventful one, was Steven Stamkos. That was nobody heard about this Vasilevskiy injury really.
I didn't even really hear like a whisper.
So he first felt the issue in August, which is interesting. They used injections to try to treat it. He felt it again on the first day of camp. They tried other measures that were not working. So after consultation, they determined that the surgery was the best course of action to alleviate the situation. They feel confident that after the surgery, there will be no long-term effects, and they hope he'll be back in form in 2 months. Because of the cap situation, with 5 more preseason games to go, they're going to let Jonas Johansson, Tompkins, and Ehlenfeldt adjust to the situation. And essentially, obviously, they're going to be looking for some sort of low-cost veteran goaltender to jump in for the next 10 weeks with them.
No, you guys got passionate opinions about those three?
None.
Yeah. Jonas Johansson, I mean, can play NHL games for you. He's a career third goalie. Tompkins was Canada's goalie, I believe, at the Spengler Cup.
Oh, okay.
But he's middle-aged, and it'd be strange for him to make his NHL debut as a regular.
Sure.
And then I can't remember the name of the other one, but
Hugo Allenfeldt.
Yeah.
I know him because he's a great prospect in NHL 23.
There you go.
if you go a couple years deep in franchise mode, Hugo Allenfeldt isn't too bad of a goalie. He matures into an 84, 85.
well, there you go. He's young.
Yeah.
He's very young, and
22, I believe now.
Yeah, sometimes there's nothing in his recent track record that suggests he's ready for this. So maybe the Lightning go internal. But what if Johansson gets injured, right? They have to get someone. And there's going to be a bunch of goalies on waivers. I don't think it's going to be a problem.
They just need a body at this point. And
Even Spencer Martin.
yeah, it's worth a shot. His pedigree coming in was so high, and then he completely crashed last year. But it's worth hey, we need somebody to play goal. Have anybody there? And Spencer Martin's worth a
Martin
shot.
Jones is a good fit, I will admit. But there's other guys out there, guys. Let's get more creative than dude who plays for Toronto.
Yeah. Let's not.
Or not.
The league doesn't get more creative than
No, they don't. That's true. Hey, are the Penguins putting a goalie on waivers?
Yeah, then take him.
2 o'clock today, I think it's going to be very
Is it
funny.
a Leafs thing or is it a Kyle Dubas thing?
Well, we know it was a Dubas thing.
Tune in at 2 to find out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Ty Smith isn't making it.
I think it's going to be it'll be fascinating. And listen, for the Leafs, this has got to change everybody's projections on how the Atlantic is going to shake out, because the race was supposed to be between Toronto and Tampa, and it doesn't mean that it won't be. But if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs, this is a golden opportunity to jump out to a really good start in October and never look back and win the division and not have to play Tampa, ideally, in the first round.
That's going to be so
you don't want to.
They might have to, though, because Tampa will be the wild card.
Well, maybe, but I think they'll catch up. I feel like, if you end up with like a Florida and a Tampa and a 2-3, hilarious first round, by the way, but you want to avoid those two teams. You do.
I mean, listen, it's the regular season. The Leafs do well there. There's no reason that they shouldn't be at least the betting favorites to win the Atlantic right now. Tampa missing Vasilevskiy for 2 months, golden opportunity.
Golden.
Florida.
It remains to be seen if Bobrovsky can bring that postseason to the regular season.
Yeah, and like that. Yeah, there's no reason to expect that'll happen.
Right. Boston, you expect to take a step back. How much? We don't really know.
I'm pretty significant.
I think the Sabres are really, really good.
They'll take a big step up.
Lot of talk about the Senators as well.
They'll take a step up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
not as convinced.
Sorry, Montreal. And Detroit.
I think Montreal.
I think Montreal will be better if they can just stay healthy. Period. They don't have to get. But Detroit, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
not
goaltending's
totally
still a bit of an issue in Montreal. But like the Leafs are kind of the only team that's coming back full strength. They got a little better over the offseason, we assume, and is kind of standing pat, And it depends on who you ask. And the other teams are kind of the young and up and coming teams. And then the other, Tampa and Boston, are the older teams that are on the decline. So the Leafs are kind of the only ones in that area. So yeah, they have a good shot at winning this division.
Speaking of the Atlantic division.
No, don't you dare.
No. Yeah.
Don't you dare.
Was I on camera when that news broke?
Can you stop looking at your phone? I'd like to break something to you. So Steve's
well, no, I felt bad because I had my ringer on and it dinged during the show, and I'm usually a very good boy about that, but it just so happened.
So Steve tried to break some news about 6 months ago. As of this morning, the person he broke the news about had resigned their post with the Edmonton Oilers and is now the what, Steve?
President of hockey operations.
And the person's
Ottawa
name is
Steve Staios.
Wow. And you said that was going to happen when?
Months ago.
And
he
people
did
were
not say that was going to happen.
I didn't say president of hockey.
He said
operations.
Steve Staios would be GM of the Ottawa Senators.
I said GM. I mean, folks, we know the direction this is headed in.
Wait, so you think Dorian's not going to be there?
Yeah, but he's above GM. He's not going to.
He got a promotion.
Yeah, you undersold it.
Oh, president of hockey.
Yeah. You undersold where.
You're right.
Steve Staios now reports directly to Michael Anderson.
Yeah, it's the other way.
Oh, well, I should have gone harder.
Yeah. You should have said he's going to own the team.
Yeah. He also gets a stake in the Senators.
You know what? Let me take a victory lap on being 60, 70% right?
Yeah, for underselling.
Listen,
you were conservative in your guess.
Every once in a while, we get a piece of breaking news, and none of us know how to handle it.
No. I love it. Sorry, guys. Sorry,
what?
There was a time there was some time this summer I reported two things. I can't remember what they were. And people were like, ooh, Steve went 0 for 2. And both of them have happened.
Oh.
So
what's the other one?
I don't remember, but I'm just right all the time.
I broke one.
Just accept that I'm right.
I broke one July 1st, and everybody was like, who?
Lagesson.
And now you know who Lagesson is because he scored in the preseason. Don't you?
Wasn't Twitter screwed up the day of free agency?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
it was.
I had 2 Bruins.
Oh.
And, no one...
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Oh, well.
Now, so Steve Staios coming in. Now, Steve, talk about the connection between Staios and Lauer, because it goes to the Bulldogs, does it not?
Yes, the Hamilton Bulldogs of the OHL. Difficult to keep track of because Hamilton has had 90 teams.
And there was the Belleville Bulls.
And it's just going all over the place. But Steve Staios, a longtime NHLer, they won an OHL championship I want to say, was Arbor Jacki on that team? Doesn't matter. But it was going in this direction.
Hold on.
for
What's the
a
connection
while.
with Andlauer, though?
Okay.
Okay.
It was going in this direction for a while because Steve Staios was basically heading up things with the Bulldogs, and also the Sens added someone who worked with Staios and Andlauer at the Bulldogs, Sean Tierney.
Oh, yeah. I know. Sean, Charting Hockey.
Exactly.
Love Sean.
So, I mean, the writing has been on the wall. Very interesting time. I assume very interesting summer for Pierre Dorion, because when I originally heard general manager, and I will admit that is what I heard and that is what I said I heard would happen, I thought, wait a sec, when did they let go of Dorion? I didn't think of that until after I tweeted it, and then I was like, oh, they haven't. Oh, this is going to be awkward. What's happening right now with Staios as the president is actually probably better and maybe a good sign for Dorion. I don't think what Dubas is doing in Pittsburgh is going to be the norm, where someone is the president and GM. Staios gets to be the, I don't know, translator, if you will, the middleman between Michael Andlauer and Dorion. Staios speaks Andlauer's language. He also speaks the language of a general manager and a pro hockey guy. He's been in pro hockey for at least 2 decades, maybe 3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's been a general manager at the NHL level, but he's been an AGM. This is a really good fit.
Mm-hmm.
Really good fit. As a Leaf fan, I would love to come up with a reason why this is bad for Ottawa. I can't.
And here's your
former
tweet,
Leaf,
Steve.
I believe.
Here's your tweet from June 13th, 2023 at 9 a.m. on the dot. You said, not a huge surprise, but I'm hearing Steve Staios to the Sens for a role, likely as GM. Andlauer once hired Staios away from the Leafs to join the Hamilton Bulldogs.
There
Cool.
you go.
Cool.
The Leafs lose another one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I think Michael Andlauer, as any owner would do, is going to put somebody in there that he trusts.
I got to retweet.
I'm curious about do it.
I got to retweet this.
Take your victory lap. My question here is the future of Pierre Dorion, and I think Pierre Dorion deserves to be the GM. I think given what he had to put up with, not just in the late Eugene years, which were chaotic and fans were rebelling and the team wasn't good after 2017, 2018, somewhere in there, and trading Erik Karlsson and, that whole team being disassembled. Beyond all that, he had to also put up with Pierre Maguire randomly for a year as an advisor there. And listen, nothing against Pierre's broadcasting or whatever, but he hadn't been a part of a NHL front office or coaching staff since the early 90s. And so, all of a sudden, here comes Pierre Maguire telling Pierre Dorion what to do. And he was like his boss.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Even though he was under him.
Pierre Dorion's interpersonal skills have got to be A+. Like his ability to manage people. Yes.
Patience.
And if you look at the team that the Sens have now, they're one of the best young cores in the National Hockey League.
Yes.
Like, they're going to be very good for a long time once all of these players mature into the players that we think they're going to be. And that's all Dorion.
Yeah.
Like, Dorian's been there the whole time, and he's brought in all this young talent. He deserves to see this through and see how they develop.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
it struck me as wrong.
That's why it's terrible that Steve assumed he would get fired.
Yes.
Steve wanted him fired.
Wait, which Steve?
You.
This is important.
You.
Oh, okay.
Steve wanted him fired.
Yes.
You called for his
He
firing.
called for his
Yeah,
fire.
I
wow.
did not.
You led the campaign.
I did
Dorian
not.
Out, hashtag, and you bought billboards, didn't you? Didn't you?
Can you imagine?
Man, I've always wondered that. How much those things cost? Like those
Probably
fans,
not a lot.
Yeah, those fans crowdfunding that though. I was like, man, that's not nothing.
Couple $1,000.
Is that what it is?
Probably.
I looked into
Asheville.
getting a rink board in Oshawa for SDPN, and it was like $3,000, and I'm like, ooh, can't
For the whole season?
I don't remember if it was for the whole season.
It's 41 games.
Should I have done it?
41 games.
I mean, $3,000 is spicy.
LFR? Should I just get my face?
Your face and Iggy.
And it's just riddled with puck marks by like half an hour through the first day.
They're shooting at your nose.
Everyone
be
missing
actually-
the net on purpose.
Yo, that would
Yeah,
be sick.
right there.
That would be really cool.
I'm gonna break the nose again.
He almost did yesterday.
I would be sick if you bought a billboard and just had people fire pucks at it throughout the year. I like that. I actually really like that.
Steve's face.
Frivolous business expense.
Oh yeah, yeah, we're really into those. I wanted to mention too that today is the third day for our Kickstarter. With it's not our Kickstarter; it's ODR Hockey Heroes.
I was like, do we get a cut?
No, we don't get a cut. This is completely their partner of ours. Chris Atala is the founder of Treewood Studios. We're really excited for him. I think they got a lot of funding on the first couple of days, which is amazing. And we really want to support video games that are independent. Chris wanted to start his own because he wanted to make a game for hockey fans, and one that you could just jump into. You don't have to buy 40 million cards to be good at online. So I just want to say the Kickstarter link will be in there, in the link in the description. If you can fund this game, $5-10, whatever it is, there are a ton of benefits to funding it, and including exclusive merch and maybe a Dangle Navy jersey, a whole bunch of different things.
You don't have to say maybe. It's on the Kickstarter.
It is.
If you're the highest backer, if you back over $500 or more, there's 10 of those spots available. We're gonna do a special reprint of some Dangle Navy jerseys. So yeah, you'll get your hands on one if you're the highest tier backer.
And like we played it. It's so fun. And like the game that we played wasn't even done.
Yeah.
No, such a rough build, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
like the story mode, just hopping in like the first couple scenes. It's such a good time.
And he is at $10,500 so far of the $25,000 goal. So if we can help him get there,
almost halfway there.
Yeah, not bad, not bad at all. Pretty cool. So we're rooting for Chris. And by the way, he'll be there tonight. You can try out ODR Hockey Heroes in St. Catharines with us at the course and clubhouse.
To everybody who can't get tickets because they're sold out,
you can play the demo online. It's on Steam. There's a Steam demo.
Yeah, but you were saying that he's going to be
well,
there tonight.
I was just saying that he was going to be there too.
Hey, you who can't get tickets.
And you can't
be
go.
there.
Maybe we'll bring him to another event that we do. Okay.
You just tell me what hockey game you'd like to play.
By the way, I watched that Seinfeld episode for the first time the other night because I'm going from start to finish. I'd never seen that, and I'd had a weed gummy, and
so it was funny.
I was dying. I couldn't believe how funny it was.
Have you never watched Seinfeld? Like
never all the way through. I'd seen episodes, like my parents watched it and everything.
Oh wow!
But I never took the time. So now I'm watching it all the way through, and
it's so good.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's impossible to pick up if you're like Gen Z or something.
Well, because we grew up in that era, right?
There's too many episodes that just will not make sense. I love Seinfeld. Maddie loves Seinfeld.
Gen Z.
Never mind.
She's 21? 23.
23? Okay.
Yeah, I think people can get like it's at this point it's a period piece.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The 90s were so long.
That whole episode is about calling the phone to get movie time.
It's a reality that doesn't exist anymore.
No.
In most places.
I remember looking up movie times in a newspaper, and I remember the first time I found them online. And my mom and like my mom was, I think we were going to a movie or whatever, and I was like, you can buy the tickets online. She's like, oh, you never give your credit card out online.
Oh,
there's somebody.
I remember
come and steal
when that
it.
was
You can't do that.
Yeah.
So we'd have to go to the theater to buy the tickets and then leave because you'd have to buy the tickets early because they'd sell out.
Now my mom is on Instagram and clicks like on all of our stuff because she knows it helps.
Listen, if Tina likes my tweets or my Instagram, I feel really good about it.
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
I didn't know she was just like, I thought she liked it because she liked it, not just because she was just.
Well, I think she does.
Is she blanket liking things?
Oh no,
The
not
support.
blanket necessarily. She'll be like STP, Agent Provocateur, CJ Show, Noxie and Cax. I fucking hate Doug Ford, Jesse Blake Sports Report, stuff like that.
I also want to say that we were supposed to start the show this morning at 9 a.m. and I think we've talked about this before, but Tina and Gary, Steve's parents, Tina G, and Gary Glenn, who you would know from Atomic Tomb, the best metal band in the world, drummer for Atomic Tomb. They dropped off their old coffee maker in I think June. Now this coffee maker,
we bought 2 brand new coffee machines and one of them broke immediately.
Yeah, so Steve had him drop it by. Now this coffee machine it's a solid purchase. There's nothing wrong with this coffee machine at the point of purchase.
I believe it was made in 1973.
It's old, and I want you to know that Steve started brewing it before Jesse or myself or Maddie got here. And
Maddie was already here.
by the time we got upstairs 20 minutes later, it had gotten to the 4 cups amount, and Steve was trying to brew 8 cups, and it was leaking all over the counter. And I
didn't put the pot in.
So Steve, Jesse, how many minutes did we lose waiting for Steve to brew coffee?
We started about half an hour after we should.
I think it's time to put the coffee machine out to pasture. I think we need to rehome the coffee machine.
It's time to get new friends. That's what I think.
I'm not sure if you saw it last night. Connor Bedard's first NHL preseason game. Now, I get it. It's preseason. But he did set up both goals, including an incredible OT winner between him and Andrei Vasilevskiy. And it kind of felt like that's what we should have seen between Vasilevskiy and Connor McDavid had that trade to Edmonton not been cut short by COVID. But I want to get your thoughts on what you guys saw from Connor Bedard, the confidence, the playmaking. He makes them actually okay.
Yeah, I am a little worried for the kid because like the talent is obviously ridiculous. Like his poise, his hands, he has a respect already at 18 years old. Like defenders fear him. They're like, this kid is about to do some ridiculous bullshit. And then he does it. And there's nothing they can really do about it. I worry about the kid because there is a tension there. And it's obviously not affecting his game too badly. He had, 2 assists on 2 goals. He can't really do much better than that. But after the game, he's still always so hard on himself.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's an act or what. But I think it's maybe lonely being the savior of a franchise. Savior of a franchise and not a whole hell of a lot around you.
Right.
Too. But that's why you overpay a Nick Foligno. That's why you overpay a Corey Perry, right? You got to get this kid in his happy place.
I think they got Taylor Hall at a pretty good deal.
Trade for Taylor Hall,
yeah.
I believe they traded for him. I mean, they got guys. They probably got more guys than they get credit for, but it's still a fairly hopeless roster. They just got to insulate this kid. And if he has a good season, that'll be enough.
Now, one of the things that happened after the game, too, you talk about tension, is somebody walked over the Blackhawks logo in the locker room, and Connor Bedard did not like it. Have a listen to this.
Let's go.
No, you're not walking the logo.
Put the logo on it.
Push-ups or donuts tomorrow.
So you can see his reaction to that.
Who's that yelling?
I think it's the PR person for the Blackhawks. Hey,
Is
okay,
it?
here, can I answer? 2 nerds.
Yeah.
2 nerds.
I want to know.
Bedard just shook his head. That's all.
Who's handing out the 100 push-ups? This is not the coach or the captain or somebody respects. It was the PR guy. Like, get the fuck out.
I think it was a joke. Like,
I know.
They're trying to diffuse the situation.
Put it on the
Fart
ceiling.
joke.
Yeah.
Put it on the damn ceiling.
So
you have the biggest fuck off logo in the league.
It's a big logo.
It's the biggest fuck off logo in the league. Excuse me while I get my Letterkenny out. And they put it on the floor in the biggest fuck off size they could muster. Paint it on the ceiling or something. It's enormous. What are you doing?
Well, and especially because like other teams, like Mike Stevens was tweeting this morning that the Leafs just put a blanket down so you don't step on the logo.
The Dallas Stars put it on the ceiling. It looks incredible.
Yeah, it's way better.
Seen that.
Can we see that?
But they've updated the locker room,
and they made it to the Final Four.
I just feel
That's why. It's the only reason.
I just feel like, okay, first off, we've talked about this, but the walking on the logo thing in the dressing room is super odd because it's on the floor.
Yes.
So we have a piece of the floor. What's the floor there for, guys?
Walking on,
right?
And also wheeling your little cart thing.
So you've taken a room full of 30 sweaty dudes, 4 or 5 members of the coaching staff, and maybe 30 members of the media. It's Bedard's first game in Chicago.
Huck their shit everywhere.
Yeah, hockey mad market though. Hockey mad. So there's going to be a ton of reporters there, and you're like, sorry guys, this 8 foot by 8 foot or 6 foot by 6 foot, you can't walk there.
It's one
Why?
of the dorkiest
Because we've made it up.
Going. Yeah.
Well, and it's like you don't have a problem skating over the logo at center ice. No problem.
They should have to skate around it. Actually, it should be home ice disadvantage because the road team, what do they care?
Mm-hmm.
The home team can't skate across center, which means they automatically lose every opening faceoff.
Wow. Amazing. Yeah, I like it. I'm into it.
Why not?
I like it.
Listen, if we're gonna get serious about this, let's get serious about this.
It's a silly thing that human beings do. We kind of pick and choose these things where it's like, this is a mark of respect. This exact same thing over here doesn't matter.
Don't wear a hat at the table.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know. Some fucking guy came up with it like a little while ago, and all of a sudden, Tony Soprano's threatening a guy trying to eat a meal at a restaurant.
Hey, Jesse, question for you.
Yeah.
You're a hat guy.
The hats at the table thing has always been so weird.
Do you wear a hat at the table?
I don't yeah, I guess.
You wouldn't like take it off intentionally?
No. Unless it's like, I don't know. Yeah.
It's weird, right? You don't even think about it.
I don't, yeah.
As a guy
I
who
think at
never
this
wears a
point-
hat, who physically cannot wear a hat because my head's too fucking big.
Remember,
I just don't know.
I think at this point it's okay to wear a hat at a table. I think we're past
Yes.
that. And you don't have to wear a suit everywhere too.
No.
You know? Like,
Yeah,
we're
you do.
past that- We're past that part.
Something
of
you have to do,
society.
what you used to have to do when women were sitting down at the table and you already sat, you had to stand up. As men would have to stand up, and then when they sat, then you could sit.
Well, you ever, as a kid, have to read one of those stupid lists that's like the difference between Canadians and Americans? What's the thing about elbows on the table?
Oh, I was never allowed to have elbows on the table.
What's the song?
Because that's an American thing.
Isn't it like
no,
a
that's a
nursery
British
rhyme?
thing. That's a very British thing.
I
Oh,
thought
yeah.
it was an American thing.
Oh no, British thing. That is a British high society manners. The way that the elites differentiated themselves from the normal people. So somebody who would be aristocracy versus somebody who'd made a ton of money as the merchant class, didn't have a title, but they made a lot of money. Is the merchant class were usually people that came from poor backgrounds and didn't go to Eden or Harrow or any of these high-end schools, didn't eat with a knife and fork, put their elbows on the table, didn't close their mouths when they chewed, which, by the way, I think that's a good one. That's a fair one.
Yeah,
Close your mouth
no.
when you chew.
Shout out all our misophonia homies.
100%.
Yeah.
And so it was a way to differentiate yourself from those people who handled money. Because that was seen as, no, we don't talk about money. We don't handle money.
How many hockey podcasts do you think have used the word merchant class?
I'm
the last
just saying
2
that's
years?
where it came from. But that's where all this shit kind of comes from, right?
Oh.
And so the elbows on the table is, I don't know, my parents always were like, well, that's disrespectful. Now I don't really care. If I'm out to dinner at a nice restaurant, of course not. But if I'm at home and I'm eating a sandwich, who cares?
Shoes off in the house.
See, Americans
Such
are the
a strange
opposite.
one.
Americans are the opposite. They wear their shoes in the house.
I do not
That's
get that.
no. That's
I-
so
I'm
wrong.
You don't live where it rains?
No, that's
What's the matter with
wrong.
you?
Well, you see that on Seinfeld. Jerry's wearing his tennis shoes and putting them up on the table.
Yeah.
You live in New York.
Yeah.
You wear your shoes out unless you have like
It's-
house shoes, I guess.
Well, those would be slippers, wouldn't they?
I don't know. But you're going to walk around New York City and then put that shit up on your table?
You ever walked
Also-
around New York in the summer? What does it smell like?
Everything.
Urine.
Yeah.
Smells like urine.
Yeah. No
whole
outside
city.
clothes on your bed. Like, don't do that. Don't sit on your bed with your jeans.
Oh, you don't do that?
No.
On your like now.
outside
No!
clothes on your bed.
So like even like okay,
What's
I'm
wrong
wearing
with you?
Lululemons right now. I'm wearing Lululemons. So I couldn't sit on my bed.
No, if you rode the bus or you went in your car and you're outside and you're sitting places and you went to work and you come home and you lie in your bed, that's oof.
What if
Okay.
it's just on top of the comforter, not in the bed?
Nah.
No.
Because I wouldn't wear it in the bed, but on top of the comforter, I'm like, I don't know.
What are you doing?
Have you seen that girl on TikTok who says, if you're not showering when you get home from the bar, what are you doing?
No, everybody clowned her for like a year.
Yeah, everyone clowned her for like a year, and then you think about it and you're like,
No,
South
that's
Park
a
made a
fair
good
point.
point once. They were like, remember that episode where somebody didn't wash their hands after they went to the bathroom? And then like, doesn't the park like flood with pee and like there's like
no, I think you're confusing two
Well,
episodes.
okay. Well, anyway, there was like a big thing. It was like, you don't wash your hands after you go to the bathroom. And I think it was Kyle was like, why don't we wash our hands before we go to the bathroom?
Right.
Our hands are dirty and we're touching ourselves. We should be washing our hands before.
Or the offset one. Do you brush your teeth before or after breakfast?
Oh, I do it after. I've always done it after.
Well, I'm watching this video going, I do both.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't know where you guys are going with this.
Nowhere.
I work.
Nowhere in
Since I
particular.
started working from
This
home,
is-
I brush my teeth. I don't even know how many times a day.
Back
Yeah.
to Dallas and the logo. I found the tweet. Shout out Emmy1717 who sent a picture of the new Dallas locker room where they have the logo glowing on the ceiling, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, I know that looks dope as fuck, and they have access to the entire floor. But what about arbitrary tradition?
That looks so cool. So cool.
That's the
Great
most.
dressing room.
That's the biggest compliment you've ever paid the Stars.
Oh no, it's
You
the
hate
logo's
that.
still shit, but I do.
It's fine. I like it.
No, fine shouldn't be the goal. It should be spectacular.
Grit, attack, play fast is what they got written on the wall. They got Texas and Texas hockey.
Boy, they did not put a whole lot of effort into that, did they?
What do you mean?
Grit, attack, play fast.
You don't like it?
Gap. Like I don't know. Usually it's like a phrase or like something that like rhymes, or there's like
Something motivational.
yeah, like everything starts with the same letter. No, grit, attack, play fast.
Make them hate playing in Texas.
Yeah, don't mess with Texas,
The LEDs are very 2023. Yeah,
where
they're very
stars
Gen Z.
are born.
They're very Gen Z. I wonder if Robertson had anything to do with that. Young kid. He's like, I need more LEDs.
Robert, I don't know if I know a person with more LED lights than Robert.
This looks like a loud car in 2007. Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's, you know what? Listen, I think it's time that we stop with the logos on the floor.
Mhm.
Everybody grow up. It's a logo. Put it on the ceiling if you don't want someone walking on it. Stop. Enough.
grit, attack, play fast, ass hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the dowel is cut off.
Mm.
Yeah. It is. It's cut off. In the photo.
Did you see what happened last night with Mark Stone and Hayden Hodgson?
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago. Sorry, 2 nights ago. Had a little tussle. And what I thought was most interesting about it, and we can't play this on the screen, is Mark Stone grabbing Brant Clark, who's like the new defenseman, and like screaming at him on the ice.
Everything about this sequence makes Mark Stone seem nuts.
But Mark Stone is kind of nuts on the ice.
Yes.
Like he's
But, like-
always. I'm surprised that people are surprised by this.
It's funny.
He's nuts.
It kicked off a funny conversation with us. So I guess we'll back up. So there's a guy who is like an AHL, ECHL guy.
Yeah, Hayden Hodgson.
Hayden Hodgson laid a big clean hit on Mark Stone. There was nothing wrong with that hit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're Mark Stone, does it piss you off that a dude with no realistic shot of making the NHL blew you up in a preseason game? Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, because especially he's coming off of an injury.
That's the important
Yeah.
I
part.
totally get that.
Mhm.
I think a lot of the people who say I hate seeing fights after a clean hit are liars. Like you didn't want anyone to stick up for your captain. You didn't want your entire team to maul the guy who just did that to Mark Stone. Of course you did. Please stop lying about your instincts. Like, yes, you absolutely. Imagine how much we would judge Vegas for doing nothing there.
Oh, I thought about that, and I'm like, man, if that happened to a Leaf, I don't know before this season if anybody would have jumped in.
But the interesting conversation that kicked off is how different the Kings are from just a few years ago. And they're a team that I like, but all of them used to be units. And what I was saying, because Stone in the melee grabbed Brant Clark,
Who's a kid.
a kid. He's a rookie and not a particularly big one, screaming at him,
And
asking
he's
him
saying,
if
welcome
he
to the
wants
NHL.
yeah, asking him if he wants to go. And what I was saying is the very next time they play, someone on the Kings should grab him and ragdoll him.
But who
You
on the
do
Kings?
not
Ragdoll
fucking
Mark
touch
Stone?
our rookie. Absolutely.
Who's going to do that, Steve? On
Well-
the Kings? There's nobody there to do that.
This is the problem. On the LA Kings, there is
What about
no
Doughty?
one there to do.
Doughty would probably
Come
be the only
on.
one. You
What do you mean,
don't.
come on.
He could try. Like, I mean,
Doughty's huge.
What?
he's also their number one D.
Okay.
Like, maybe it's a fair trade.
Yeah, but
he
that's,
should have
that's
to.
exactly what you want out of your stars. Haven't we been asking Austin Matthews to fucking stand up for himself one time?
You know what?
some
You know
of us
what?
have.
Just-
I haven't.
Like, if Drew Doughty is out there beating somebody up, hell yeah, I'm
Jesse's
fired up.
turn me. Jesse's turn me. Mark Stone should absolutely have to pay the piper for what he did to Brant Clark. Should Hayden Hodgson have to pay as well? Sure. That's up to the Vegas Golden
Yes.
Knights, and you could argue they already did.
Yeah, he probably won't be in a game.
He probably won't be in a game. Like Mark Stone made fun of him, and I'm sure you're about to play the clip.
Yeah.
But the next time the Vegas Golden Knights and LA Kings play, Mark Stone should have to pay for what he did to Brant Clark if anyone is going to respect the LA Kings. That's how hockey works. Don't tell me that's not important. Because after we all looked at that and we go, okay, it's a clean hit. Yeah, I understand Mark Stone. But this side conversation started of what the fuck is that with Brandt Clarke?
Mm-hmm.
What a nut. What a complete nut. And you can't say he sucks or he's a loser because he's very literally the captain of the reigning Stanley Cup champions. But that is a ridiculous thing to do. And someone on the Kings should kick his ass.
But nobody on the Kings is available to kick his ass. Like,
it's a problem.
Well, I mean, Doughty could, maybe Gavrikov, but I do feel like the LA Kings.
Those are our names?
Well, the LA Kings of old, the ones that won cups.
Yeah.
Like, there would be 6 guys that could come in and crush.
Like,
and even like a Dustin Brown, who wasn't particularly huge, would come in and grab you and probably be vicious.
And you go out there and get a tough guy. The tough guy cannot go and fight Mark Stone. Drew Doughty can, because that's a fair-ish trade. You're talking about a star player for a star player, leader for leader. But someone should fight him for that. Is that not? Sorry, have I been asleep and not paying attention to the sport for the last?
I don't
God
disagree.
knows how long.
I think a lot of people this morning are saying how bad it makes Mark Stone look. I think a lot of Vegas fans are going to love that.
But
Vegas fans are going to love it.
The bad guys win. Everyone, please start paying attention in the spring. Everyone, please start watching.
Yeah,
Vegas are the bad guys.
I enjoy Mark Stone.
I do too.
Like, I don't see a problem with Mark Stone at all.
Yeah, I think a lot of people stop watching the second their team is out. Please stop. Please stop. You gotta watch the playoffs. You need people who are good people off the ice and bad people on. Mark Stone, like, as far as I know, is a good guy.
Yeah, of course.
That was like a bad guy thing to do.
But Vegas are the villains, by the way. Not only are they the defending Stanley Cup champions, but you saw what they did in the playoffs, right?
Bad guys win on the ice.
Of course. I don't know, man.
What do you want?
To me, if I'm
show me an abundance of proof that's not true.
Now, you
can't.
I got his press conference. Do you want to hear what he had to say about it?
You bet.
Jesse's got it in his text messages. It's spice. And I love this. I love a little spicy. Here we go.
Gotta stick together. It's probably the last time I'll ever play against that guy. Really not a good player, so leave it at that.
Can you go unedited and tell us what you said to Brandt Clarke when you were
I think I scared him a little, didn't I? No, I honestly was looking around for some of their talented players and trying to run at them, and he was really the only one. So it's unfortunate you're playing against a team like that. They're trying to make a name for themselves, and preseason.
Did Brandt Clarke respond to you during that little interaction?
Anything else?
Yeah, just shaking off the rust. It's the first time you and the top guys got on the ice. Just how you think you kind of.
Is he just going to talk about tactics the rest of the time?
Fight against that.
Yeah. So I thought the sloppy part was important to leave in there because it tells you the mindset that Mark Stone had. This is a sloppy, shitty game. Nobody can read much from this.
Well, he wasn't taking it seriously.
And he's feeling like you're taking a run at me.
He wasn't taking it seriously, that's why he got blown up. That guy can't skate with you. He can't hang in the NHL. He shouldn't be able to get a piece of Mark Stone. But he did because you had your guard down.
Ooh, okay.
You had your guard down, and that's why he got a piece of you. But he's making fun of this guy in your organization. He's never going to play in the NHL. And he's laughing about the fact that he scared your star rookie, like probably the best prospect in the organization, unless you count Quentin Byfield, which I wouldn't because he's been steadily playing in the NHL. I'm sorry. Why doesn't he have to answer for that? If you're the LA Kings, everyone in the league will think less of you, and they'll be right.
I hope that's the start of a nice, nasty little regular season rivalry between those guys. They're going to play each other, 4 or 5 times? So
something like that.
I don't like how you're saying there's nobody on the LA Kings who would stand up for Brandt Clarke.
Make a list.
Well, Drew Doughty,
Andreas Englund, 5 fights last year, 3 in the AHL, 5 in the NHL.
Bad player.
6'3".
It's not good.
He's gonna be on the ice.
Yeah, he'll be on the ice. Now,
6'3", 200 pounds.
And if you're Vegas, and what's his first name? Andreas?
Yeah.
Andreas Englund goes at Mark Stone. You all break your sticks on each of his legs. Now, Drew Doughty, like Jesse, I don't know why you had the right answer when you began.
Yeah.
Drew Doughty, that's the guy. It's got to be Doughty going after Stone.
It doesn't though.
Oh, no, you're right. It's got to be their 7th D.
It can be. I'm saying there are options. You're saying nobody on the LA Kings is tough. I'm saying there are
Jesse.
options.
Okay.
Short list.
So let's see.
It's a short
So
list.
let's see. You two are going to fight.
And I don't understand why we're calling for blood over this.
Well, I think that
Because, okay, I'm sorry. As a Leaf fan, I feel uniquely qualified to talk about a chicken shit team that gets punked all the time.
I mean, the Leafs
Am I wrong?
they got punked a lot by the Bruins. Yeah. They got punked
Everybody! The Blue Jackets, for God's
which
sake.
is why they brought in the snot that they did this year. So I think
Yes!
they're trying to change that about themselves. I think what's going to be interesting is when these guys play in the regular season and does a preseason game, do you cool off and just fucking forget about it? Or is this something where it's like, okay, we already know we're going to be fighting for the division lead. We may as well tear each other apart every time we play. That will be can't miss hockey. That's the part I'm excited about. That's worth the price of Knights Plus.
The Panthers. Yeah, there you go. The Panthers and Lightning had like line brawls 2 years ago.
I know. I know.
They hate each other.
I like
this
that.
happens. This happens between good teams who are rivals.
So this is the interesting thing. I think Jesse's right in there are options. I think you're right in there are not as many options based on the LA Kings former brand. I want to see the first game that they play each other. When do LA and LA Kings? Let's see. Let's have a look at the schedule. Okay. The LA Kings will play their last preseason game against the Vegas Golden Knights next Saturday, October 7th. And then they will play them for real in the regular season for the first time on October 28th. I think this gets resolved in the next preseason.
That's what I was about to say. They're going to solve this next week. That's fine.
It's got to be one of those two games.
That's going to be
they'll solve it next week.
Have you ever had a preseason game that you're like, man, that might be can't miss? if Vegas dresses Mark Stone, that's a can't miss game. You got to watch that.
Maybe they shouldn't.
Maybe they shouldn't. I don't know. But I think that's going to be exciting. I kind of like this stuff. I like getting
I'm
fired
not
up
saying
about
it's
it.
bad. I'm just saying how you solve it.
Now, Simon Benoit, a name that Leaf fans are not really that familiar with. He's brand
They
new
ought
here.
to be. I made a video about him.
You did. That's right. And he told Luke Fox from Sportsnet in an interview, he's kind of pissed that the Ducks didn't qualify him. And he's kind of vowed to make them pay, which... I mean, he's going to go out there and fight the whole Ducks team. He posted career highs in games played, 78, points, 10, hits, 216, 128 blocks, and he was skating top 4 minutes. I believe he was Klingberg's defense partner.
Yes, most common, yeah.
I guess extension talks deteriorated pretty early, and then Anaheim decided not even to qualify him in June. And he said this is a good quote. I personally think it's a mistake on their part, and it's a win for Toronto. I was happy to end up Toronto, that's for sure. And he wants to make them pay for it. Now, Keefe kind of said he's got an outside shot. He's got outside shot to make the team.
Missing camp kind of sucks.
Yeah. And so he's going to have to make some of that up probably in the AHL.
Yeah.
But I like a guy who's got a fucking axe to grind with the whole league.
Absolutely. Even if it's with the Ducks.
Yeah, that's a fantastic attitude to have coming into camp.
Yeah, love that. And like he's actually kind of right. Like, listen, a lot of his metrics were terrible. Everyone's were on the Ducks, but he was a regular in your lineup and did like the lion's share of the physical work on the back end. So the fact they didn't even qualify him as a 24-year-old on a rebuilding team, it's confusing.
Well, it's also confusing that Drysdale and Zegras are sitting at the side getting Zegras is getting $4 million offers or $3 million offers or whatever he's getting. There's some confusing things happening with the Ducks. He said, I'm just going to make my spot. I always work hard and I always came to camp as a surprise. I got hurt when I got here, but as soon as I'm back on, I'll make sure to make myself a part of this team. He took off his red jersey only Wednesday this week, which is the non-contact jersey.
Okay.
So he had back spasms. He was skating. He just couldn't take any hits.
He's got to get into at least a preseason game.
Well,
and even then, he's going to be with the Marlies.
I thought you'd find this interesting. Chicago are only playing 6 preseason games this year, whereas the Leafs are playing 8. The Chicago Blackhawks played their first preseason game last night.
I saw that. So they're like, oh, yeah, it's Bedard's first preseason action. And I'm like, oh, is he scratched for the first 2?
St. Louis had already played 3 games before that night.
Yeah, the preseason's a mess.
It's weird. And it's also weird that we're playing that many games in the preseason. So I'm excited for Simon Benoit, but just because I root for a guy like that.
100%.
How can you not?
I think it's a fair bet he'll play games.
There's so many injuries happening throughout the season that he's going to get in.
Hey, wait, how
the Wayne
long is
Simmons thing from last season.
How long is the season?
82 games.
There you go.
He should wear 82.
Another guy I want to talk about is Connor Timmins.
The leading scorer of the preseason.
Yeah, I think
Not for the Leafs, for the league.
he, to a lot of people, he might have been another one of the dubious projects that didn't work out. You know, your Dennis Malgins, your Nick Patans, your guys that you're like, okay, he's just one of those guys you take a chance on, half-cocked, and Dubas left in the middle of the 2-year deal that he extended him on.
At the beginning.
He's been Benoit's partner, by the way, and he's made some unreal plays. Here's what Max Domi had to say.
I thought he was with William Lagesson.
Oh, I guess he was with Lagesson too.
Noted Alan Walsh client.
That's right. And goal scorer.
That's right.
Here's what Max Domi had to say about the goal that he set him up for. He said, that is an all-world pass. Anytime you get a penalty, you're hoping you get a breakaway when you get out, right? Unbelievable pass, sauced it right over the guy's stick. Didn't want to waste it for him when he scored. And he's like, and Domi said he's not fun to play against. He's a good skater, big body, strong, boxes out pretty good, and he can make plays. Both him and Timothy Liljegren, they're underrated, right?
Both him and Timothy Liljegren. So, they got to figure out what to do here.
Because he's not waiver exempt.
He's not waiver exempt, and there really isn't much justification to put him in the lineup when you have a right side of Brody, Klingberg, assuming Klingberg is healthy, and Liljegren. So what's happening there? Is there going to be a night where Brody's on the left, and then who's coming out?
Well, what's the left?
Giordano. The left is Riley, McCabe, I think Gio. So you're gonna do Riley, Klingberg, maybe.
I'd like to see Gio play 40 games in the regular season.
He should not it's not a bad idea. He shouldn't be playing every game. He played too many last year, and I think it caught up with him. He was not good in the playoffs. But if you're gonna have Brody on the right side, I don't understand how you put Timmins in the lineup.
Well, John Klingberg tightened up. There was some sort of tightening, and they took him out of the game against Buffalo, which is the Kraft Hockeyville game, and that's where Timmins stepped up. And I wonder...
He was incredible.
Yeah, the thing is, the problem with the Leafs right now is they're so up against the cap that they may have to have a roster of 20 guys. So those 3 extra slots, you can't carry your 7th and 8th defenseman, even though you want to.
It's such a shame if they end up losing Timmins. I would fight every single way to not make that happen, because he had such a good season last year in the 25 games he got into. And if we remember, they got him in the trade for Curtis Douglas from Arizona. And before that, he'd played 4 games in 2 years because of all the injuries he had. And it was Kyle Dubas identified a project, a second-round pick who has been injured for so long and he hasn't really played games. And, hey, maybe we can rehabilitate his career. And it was a great scouting job by him. And he stepped into a role and he played it well. And it would be a shame if they lost him at this point.
When Colorado got Darcy Kemper from Arizona, he was a key part of the return.
He was a big 2nd-round pick that went in the other way, a great prospect.
Yeah, if he ends up having a good NHL career, it's not weird.
It's not a shock.
It's not a shock at all. It's actually a really good comeback story. Yeah.
So I think it'd be bad on the organization for the Leafs if they started this comeback and then they couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
If I'm Brad, I'm trying to keep him in the organization and not lose him on waivers.
Guys on 2-year deals that are worth more than $1 million per season typically don't get claimed off waivers, but you never know.
You can expect too that there's so many teams up against it. Wouldn't it be hilarious if Simon Benoit gets claimed by the Ducks if they have to put him on waivers? But
not a chance.
You can expect that a lot of people who shouldn't get through in a normal year are going to get through because of just the amount of teams up against the cap is outrageous right now. It's crazy.
Penguins are banking on it.
Oh, I bet they are.
Yeah.
I just feel like if you're the Leafs, you can I think you can hope and pray that he gets through. That's a guy you might just need to make space for. I think it's difficult to see a way that it makes sense to lose him. Like a Simon Benoit may be the guy that you can put on waivers because he's had back spasms. He had terrible numbers in Anaheim. Not necessarily his fault completely, but
there's a lot more justification for Lagesson than Benoit.
yeah,
I will say that.
Right.
Like, again, Brad Treliving's the new guy in town, new coaching staff, even though Sheldon Keefe is still there. Like, we're going to see them fiddle around. They're going to be playing all sorts of guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be frustrating. Why are they doing this? They just want to see.
Yeah.
Because it's 82 games.
Yeah.
It's so many games.
Can you guys do a ranking for me of defensemen you want on the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Oh.
William Lagesson,
Mm-hmm.
Simone Benoit, Connor Timmins, and Timothy Liljegren.
Well, Timothy is.
Liljegren is in that group?
Liljegren's a top four guy.
Of the four.
Should be anyway.
Okay. Liljegren,
Okay.
number 1.
Okay.
Simmons, number 2. William Lagesson, number 3. Simone Benoit, number 4.
Adam?
Agreed. I don't, and it's not to denigrate any of the players or whatever, but I think clearly Liljegren's a great defenseman, or becoming a really good defenseman for them. He had a terrible end of last year, played himself out of the lineup. I get it.
He's got to figure it out.
But he has the skills, and it's tantalizing.
I'm shocked that you had such a shocked reaction to Liljegren being in that group, because the way he ended last season was a 7th defenseman who makes $1.4 million. Connor Timmins could be a 7th defenseman who makes $1.1 million. They are in the very same range as each other.
So I sort of
People
talked
are
about this.
hate you for that comment, by the way.
Yeah, but they're also 1 year apart in age.
I sort of, that's wild. I sort of talked
Crazy.
about this in the prospect pyramid. Like, guys got to take jobs. Like, you can't just be like, fine, and you like get into no, take a job. Take a job from somebody. Wouldn't it be wild if the way it works out opening night is Timmins is in there and Liljegren isn't? It's not even, it sounds ridiculous, but when you think about how last year ended and how this one is beginning,
that wouldn't be a shock.
I don't think the gap between the two is as big as you think.
No, they're in the exact same age range. They were finished last season in very similar spots in the lineup. Their salaries are $300,000 apart. Like, no, Connor Timmins could take Liljegren's spot any day.
Same age range. Who's older?
Connor Timmins by 1 year.
Oh, I thought it was Liljegren.
He's 25, right?
Timmins is 25. Liljegren's 24.
Here's what I'd say. I think the upside for Timothy Liljegren.
I'm looking at it.
The upside
wrong
is higher.
Wrong.
Much higher.
Look.
What
Nice.
is this cap? Like, you're just bringing up any website. What's cap friendly? I don't get it. No.
Timmins also just turned 25. His birthday was September 18th.
Happy birthday, Connor.
I-
One N.
But here's the thing, guys. Listen, like I think people are used to Timothy Liljegren. He was a 17th overall pick. People are rooting for him.
They're comfy.
They're comfy, and he does have high end. I think he's got more high end potential than Timmins does. But the reality of the situation is
At 25?
playing. Yeah, I think I'm comparing him directly to Timmins.
You said
So-
tantalizing, and I immediately thought frustrated.
Well, for sure.
You can be tantalized. I'm frustrated.
Okay. I mean, part of the reason that Gio was gassed by the playoffs last year is Timothy played himself out of the lineup.
Yeah.
Timothy hadn't played himself out of the lineup, and it's a bummer because I'm rooting for the guy. I want him to be that good.
I'm rooting for all of them. I hope Benoit wins the Norris, but
I also
at some point you have to decide that's not realistic.
The comparisons are a first round pick versus a second round pick a year apart.
it's not that crazy.
They're right there. It could wind up anyway. You know
what Timothy Liljegren needs to do this year to me
play good
is play regular good minutes, but seize your spot in the top 4.
Yeah,
there's going to be openings there. This is
not get scratched for the oldest player in the league.
Yeah, this is wow. You're really spicy on Timothy.
The standard's up.
Yeah,
the standard's up. Like
this isn't a development team anymore.
No.
It's we got to win now.
Yeah, we can't wait for him.
I know, listen, I still have I still think hockey, there's a wild passion and reverence that I have for it. And there's still a twinkle in my eye. And it still gives me a childlike excitement. But not even for this team and not even for the sport, but for this group, I have lost not all of, but some of my gosh gee Willikers. And at 24, the gosh gee Willikers starts to wear off quicker than 23, 22, 21.
Mm-hmm.
Make the fucking lineup. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not asking for the sun and the moon here. Be in the lineup every day and have it be undeniable.
Agreed.
And it's not.
It hasn't been. There have been stretches where it has been. And to the Leafs' credit and to Sheldon Keefe's credit, when those stretches have happened, he's played Timothy Liljegren. And even when it's not looked that way, he's played him seemingly against his will.
Yeah.
But Timothy Liljegren, to me, is a guy that should push TJ Brodie to the left. That's got to be the goal this year.
And that would exactly be how I looked at it if I had more gosh gee Willikers than I do. Like, if you're still fighting for a playoff spot, especially at playoff spot, a roster spot at $1.4 million a year. He's 24.
Mm-hmm.
By 26, 27, that's waiver guy.
Oh my God. I hope before that. I don't want people talking about Timothy Liljegren this year like he's Nick Robertson. Like he's had his time in the NHL to prove it.
Yeah, Robertson, like everyone's like, he's done, trade him. And I'm like, well, he's young. In 2 years, he won't be.
Right.
Not by hockey standards.
We've reached the point where Timothy Liljegren has had his time in the organization to earn a spot, and he hasn't really grabbed one.
There's nothing wrong with being an optimist.
No.
There isn't. But I hitch my wagon to these guys. I've watched them play a fuckload of hockey.
Can both be true, though?
What?
Well, what you're saying, you got to fucking do it. And also being an optimist I think he can.
Yeah.
I think
I 100%
yeah.
agree.
Oh, yeah.
100% agree.
So I think we're all I think we're in agreement, but I think your thing is, hey, listen, this is the season where the patience runs out because you're going to be 25 at the end of it.
We're trying to win a cup.
Right?
In
April, he'll be 25.
Yeah.
Right. You were
Trying to
on
win
the
a cup.
playoff
You win a
lineup
cup.
and you got kicked out.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you weren't good enough.
Right.
You want a cup, yes or no?
And and here's the thing is that not only does TJ Brodie's contract ended this year, if you're pushing TJ Brodie to the left side and makes the team stronger, that's great. TJ Brodie's contract ends this year. Timothy Liljegren, his contract ends. He's an RFA. Some of that money for TJ Brodie, you should be like, that's my fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
You're fighting for a contract, right? That's my TJ Brodie's making next year. That's my fucking money.
And like the idea of, well, if Brodie leaves, then Liljegren will step in. That's not an option.
Not yet.
Hopefully.
Yeah, at
get it?
current standing, that's
and
not,
I think he's been good in the preseason.
Hopefully he is good enough that it is an option.
Yeah.
Right now he's not close.
Like I hope we
Right.
can look back at this in a month and go, well, you're a little hard on Liljegren, and I'm sure you'll be thrilled about that.
That'd be great.
I will be. Oh yeah, you really showed me by giving me exactly what I wanted. I promise I'm not rooting against any of them.
That's the thing where everybody's like, Steve Dangle roots for them to lose. And he's like, oh, my favorite team won, guys. I'm so upset.
I think
they delivered me great joy. I'm upset.
Can't wait to be in a markedly better mood for the next 48 hours.
I think anybody that tweets that is an unserious person, because
It's so stupid.
well, no, we have seen that, but it's
can't
like,
wait to
I'm
be
like,
better to be around for the next couple days.
it's like, I'm gonna trash somebody randomly on Twitter because it's gonna get me a bunch of likes.
Yeah.
No,
That's all it is.
They're like, Steve Dangle wants them to lose so he can yell about them.
Yeah, it's
No,
good. It's
I
good
don't
for his
do
job
that
when
really.
they lose.
I do that. Okay, you know when I do that? I do that when I go.
The clicks.
I do that when someone goes, the Sens might trade Matthew Joseph. And I'm like, if only it's Stützle had taken less.
Now that's funny.
That's me being a dick because it's funny to me. I
And
don't
the Sens
do that
fans
with the
got it.
Leafs.
The Sens fans got it.
Most of them are like,
Yeah.
And like, I'll bring you in. You're on my side.
Yeah.
But I don't really do that with the Leafs.
No. Listen, I think it's fair to say Timothy Liljegren should seize the spot this year, can seize the spot this year, but the timeline for him to seize the spot is running out.
Mm-hmm.
And
There's other guys pushing him out.
there's other guys pushing.
Yeah.
Other guys pushing. And so it's this is great though. If you're Brad Treliving, I think this is the kind of spot you want. You've got your first ever first round pick, Easton Cowan,
Is killing it.
playing extra games. His edge work is incredible. He was amazing again against Buffalo.
Effort.
Yeah, he deserves more conversation, I think. You've got probably, we'll see how Simon Benoit plays in the back half of training camp, which is next week. I'm sure he's going to draw into a game, maybe even tonight. But I'm wondering if you're Treliving, you're like, man, we may have too many players for too many spots. Too little spots. That's a great spot to be in.
Yep.
He wanted to see the team, and he is seeing that, there's some real talent here.
One thing about Easton Cowan, we can't give any credit to Brad Treliving for making that draft pick because Brad Treliving wasn't allowed to be Leafs GM until after that pick was made.
Scouting staff.
No, that's not true.
That's the Leafs scouting
It
department.
was until after the Flames' first pick, which was before the Leafs' first pick.
Which was how many?
It was like 10 picks or something.
Yeah, so he came in there like 10 picks before the Leafs.
And
he ran over with Easton Cowan. Easton Cowan.
I don't think Brad had a say in drafting Easton Cowan. That's Kyle Dubas.
If you're
smart,
if you're smart,
he had nothing to do with it.
No, but
he listened. He would never, because he's contractually obligated to not.
No, but even if he tried to help out, he didn't know the organization.
He had no idea.
He got there an hour ago.
No idea. And he wasn't allowed to use any Flames intel either.
I'm giving credit to the scouting department and that Kyle Dubas built for the Easton Cowan draft pick. I think that's only fair.
Me too.
Stop winking.
He's a man of integrity.
Nobody listening can see you winking.
Yeah, like what?
He's winking. He's doing the WandaVision wink.
You guys are so insensitive. It is the secondary allergy season.
Oh, okay. I also want to say that I feel, after watching this training camp, I feel so much better about the Rasmus Sandin trade. And it's only because of Easton Cowan. That first round pick is not the Leafs' first round pick without the Rasmus Sandin trade. And listen, does it help the Leafs this season? No. But I do really like this player, and it's really exciting to watch this. So I'm feeling like not so sick about it, because I feel like Rasmus would be in the mix here too.
I need to know, are the London Knights struggling to start the OHL season? I got a text from an uncle who's a huge London Knights fan. And he's like, can we have him back? Like, we kind of need him. We're going for a Memorial.
Is this a real uncle?
This is a real uncle.
Oh, wow.
He's an enormous. There's a video of him.
That could have been a made up person.
No, there's a video of him online at a London Knights teddy bear toss, throwing it's like a 6 foot tall stuffed bear over the glass.
Oh, nice.
And like people had to like help him.
Oh, that's cute.
No, it's ridiculous. Yeah, ridiculously huge. Huge Knights fan.
That's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Told me to be nice to
there's some excitement. There's some excitement around the Leafs this year in terms of, just in a different way. One of the things that we keep hearing is that, and this is from reporters at camp, is that the Leafs are going for chaos. They're going for a little bit more for, the David Clarkson-ized, like, we're gonna, you just never know what we're gonna do.
Yep.
And I mean that in a way that, like, how people, when they play against Nikita Kucherov, they don't push the limit. Because Nikita Kucherov, you want to contain him, but if you piss him off, he might swing his stick at your head. Evgeny Malkin's got that too, where I'm like, I'm actually gonna lose my mind.
Evgeny Malkin has done the dirtiest things that any hockey player has ever done.
But people give him a wide berth because of it. They're like, I prefer not to take a stick to the head. And I do feel like the Leafs are there's a little bit of that on the ice. Like, Max Domi's capable of that. Tyler Bertuzzi's capable of that. Mm-hmm. Ryan Reeves is not. I don't think he's that type of guy. I think he's a cool guy who will fight you. But I don't think he's like,
he'll run you over. But like,
I don't think
he doesn't run hot.
No,
it's not a bloodlust.
No, he doesn't run hot.
Yeah.
There's going to be a little bit of that. Guy Boucher's system, and you're going to have to look out for this, is a lot more chaos in front of the net. And whether or not that's effective, it depends on who you ask. I think most people would agree that it is usually effective. Traditionally in hockey circles, it has been. But I do think that Toronto fans will respond very positively to that, because part of this is that a lot of Toronto fans do like a tougher hockey team, because we were not used to having skill. So for 100 years, we didn't have a whole lot of skill. So they do like their toughness. We like our Darcy Tucker and our Ty Domi and our, you know what I mean?
Unless they take a huge step back, like they can take a little step back. Unless they take a huge step back, I think fans will like this team a lot more.
I also don't think, and I think I want to come back to that point, I also don't think they're in the toughest division anymore. I think, no question, the Pacific Division is the toughest division in the sport.
Yeah, we recorded those previews yesterday. It's so good.
That's a murderer's row, that division. It's crazy.
There are I would say 6 teams that should be in competition for a playoff spot.
Boston taking a step back. We're still not sure if Florida's going to get the goaltending, although we think they will, and they're pretty nasty. Tampa loses their goaltender for the first 10 weeks of the season.
I think the Atlantic's tight.
It's tight, but it's not the toughest. For the last 3 years, it's been holy shit.
Yeah.
Right?
It's you got to basically win the President's Trophy to get home ice.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I want to move off of that for a second and move on to Michael Russo, who was tweeting about we've been talking about this Bally Sports thing, and I think it's interesting because, again, I've had a whole bunch of DMs from people talking about how hard it is to watch sports. So this is from a Detroit fan. This is Beer League Chump. He said, so here's what for me to watch hockey, here's what I need to do. I need to subscribe to the Bally Sports Detroit app. That's $20 a month. ESPN Plus, $11 a month. The Sling app, which includes ESPN exclusives and TNT, and that's $40 a month. And then the Sling app sports add-on, which is NHL Network, and that's $10 a month. And that's if I need to watch every game. Now, by the way,
whoa, that's like what, $100?
That's still cheaper than Canada.
No, that's like $100 that the league just made off that person who's definitely not going to steal. Good for them.
But even if
don't make it hard,
why can't it be two things that you have to download and subscribe?
How about
even if the price is the same?
Fucking one.
Yeah, one would be great too. But
you should be able to make it as dumb and simple as possible. I want the hockey, please.
Well, make it as dumb and
slap
simple
your card down and they give you the thing you want.
The Phoenix Suns sending out antennas to people to watch the games. Like that simple.
Yes.
Let's just make sure they can.
Making more of an effort than you in terms of business ethics have to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it'll pay dividends for them.
Michael Russo tweeted, if Bally Sports regionals are unable to operate in NHL markets due to their bankruptcy proceedings, and also, and this is a really important point for cable subscribers, they don't have a deal yet with Comcast or DirecTV. The Minnesota Wild, like other teams, are going to go, are ready to go with a contingency within 24 hours, according to owner Craig Leopold. So
wow,
they are going to stream or they're going to do it over the air, but they're ready to go now. They've got a plan now. And I would imagine that that's not just Minnesota. That's probably everyone who's affected by these regional
Wild plus.
Well, and honestly, if you're a fan of if that's your local team,
yeah,
you're rooting for this. You don't want Bally Sports to get it. You want your team to have I just pay and I'm going to get 70-something games because I know 12 of them are going to be on ESPN and TNT for a national. But I'm going to get 70-something games and I'll just pay the team and that's easy. You know, think how easy that is. So yeah. Bally Sports being in this position, and I feel for the people that work for that company. This is not like I hope they fail. But as a fan, it's a hell of a lot easier to watch if they're not able to come to an agreement.
Well, no, I think fans just want broadcasters to get their head out of their ass. And because there's no evidence whatsoever that's ever going to happen,
mm-hmm.
you cheer for something else, which is teams doing stuff.
Yeah.
Zero evidence at all that they're ever going to figure this out. Ever. So you cheer for something else. I understand it as a consumer.
Well, and I look at it too and I go, I remember a day back in the day, where the Leafs used to run on 4 different TV channels. So they'd run on
Leafs TV,
they'd run on City TV, they'd run on Global, they'd run on CBC, and then TSN would have the odd game. So 4 or 5 different ones. And I knew based on the night, most of the time the broadcasting team was about the same, the guys who were calling the play call, but sometimes you'd have, different features and different people on different broadcasts, and you almost became loyal to a network. Like when TSN had the games, I was like, yes, great. I love a TSN game. When it was Saturday night and CBC had it, yes, I love a Saturday night CBC game. And
I can say this sort of thing now that I don't work at Sportsnet anymore. I would always get asked, like, if you could take one person from TSN, steal them for Sportsnet, who would it be? Ray Ferraro.
Oh, he's amazing.
And it's nothing against anyone.
Well, the States got him.
No, the Canucks got him.
The Canucks got. Oh, he's just doing Canucks games?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, good for him because
that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, he's working like crazy.
Yeah, and it's nothing against anyone Sportsnet had. It's just I think he's the best color commentator in the world.
I love Chris Cuthbert. I think he's a fantastic upgrade. I wasn't a big Jim Houston guy. And that's okay. Like it's not like a personal vendetta. The other guy I really like is Brian Mudryk, who does the Montreal games. If you've the English language Montreal games are phenomenal. And Brian Mudryk is awesome. He works for TSN. That's a guy to look out for.
Jets, I'm mad at you for stealing John Lou.
Oh, I know.
We talked about that a couple of weeks
I know.
ago.
Mad at you.
How did that happen?
I don't. He
Jets.
went to Winnipeg, and now he works with my buddy Tom.
I know. I want to ask you guys this.
Now we got a wrap.
We got a wrap?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll save it for the next episode.
I don't think we got time for that.
We got a wrap. I thought we were going to do an hour and a half. We're going to do hour 25.
Yeah, well, we started half an hour late.
Yeah, Steve. Yeah, Steve.
Julian sent to the chat, #Steve was right.
There you go.
Steve Truther. Okay, we will see you tonight in St. Catharines or tomorrow morning on the internet with another live show. And by the way, if you missed out on tickets for this one, there will be more. We're going to get out as much as we possibly can because we actually can now. It's great.
First show, West Lorne, Ontario.
Love it.
Let's
I
fucking
don't know where that is.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.